Under the Shadow is about a woman and her family who live amid the chaos of the Iran-Iraq War, which lasted between 1980 and 1988, during a period known as the War of the Cities, which were 5 series of air raids, missile attacks, and artillery shellings conducted on major cities and urban areas, such as Tehran. It's where our film takes place. She is accused of subversion by the post-revolution government and ultimately blacklisted from medical college, leaving her eventually left all alone to protect her young daughter when her husband is drafted and sent to the front lines by the army. Soon after the husband leaves, a missile hits their apartment building and while failing to explode, sets in motion a chain of mysterious events, such as a neighbor dying unexpectedly and her daughter beginning to see and talk to an unseen presence. The mother learns from a superstitious neighbor that the cursed missile might have brought with it jinn, a malevolent Middle Eastern spirit that travels on the wind and might have come to possess the little girl. This film is quite fascinating because of a lot of reasons, many of them having to do with its historical and contextual setting, very unique for a horror film, and also for its folklore that's a sort of backdrop for this very mysterious evil presence that's haunting our characters. In a way you can say that this is like the Iranian version of the Babadook, obviously because the plot centers on a mother trying to protect her child from this evil force, but also because these two movies can either be interpreted like literally, like what is happening in the story within the film is literally what's happening, but I think they can also be interpreted figuratively, as a sort of allegory or hyperbole, as a way of externalizing a more deeper inner conflict that is taking place within our characters. It's really no wonder that things start getting really spooky immediately after the father/husband leaves. I mean, this is basically the only male figure in these two females' lives who they can fully trust. I mean, it's no secret that Muslim countries are no strangers when it comes to gender oppression. Like, women there are expected to have one single function: stay home, raise the kids. I mean, studying medicine, wanting to become a doctor, or participating in any sort of political matters, I mean, it's not only frowned upon, in most cases it's actually forbidden. Women are severely punished even for some of the most minor infringements of certain strict values, like not covering themselves when going out on the street. It is only natural that when the mother is left alone to protect her daughter, paranoia basically sets in. I mean, just imagining how frightening it is to live in a world where the other gender, the stronger gender, does not help you, does not respect you. They are the ones destroying the world, they are the ones causing it to crumble in on itself, and there is nothing you can do about it. There is nowhere to run, and that's basically the metaphor, I think. That's the whole film right there. Every time they cross paths with a male figure, the sense of danger does definitely not go away, does not disappear or diminish. Quite the contrary, in fact. There are 2 instances of this sort of thing happening. Once when a man comes to fix the windows that were damaged by the missile hitting the building, and the daughter asks about something like watching a video cassette, and the mother immediately pulls her aside and warns her about never mentioning them having a VCR in front of strangers. You see, people really weren't supposed to have these sort of things, like VCRs, video cassettes. They really weren't allowed to have any sort of entertainment from outside, from the West. And she, the mother, has a video herself. It's a Jane Fonda fitness video that fits into the story quite nicely overall. It's going to be one of the first things that disappears in the house and ultimately will get destroyed. She will find it in the trash can, and in typical horror movie fashion, she will first blame her daughter for it. And the second instance when something like this happens is when shit really starts hitting the fan, and they run out of the house in panicking during the middle of the night. They are caught by authorities, and the mother is almost punished with lashes for not having covered herself before entering out on the street. Yikes. It's also no wonder that the mysterious presence appears as this sort of sheet of fabric. It's very ghostly, like very typical fashion, but I think here it actually does have resonance and meaning. I think it's a very good symbol for the oppression she is under, like feeling this overwhelming fear and stress of being incapable of protecting her daughter. They do an excellent visual thing with that in the 3rd act of the film. It's quite frightening. And the fact that the mother desperately wanted to become a doctor, I think also has a very nice payoff in the film. You see, early on, the daughter loses her favorite doll, and this will lead to her eventually getting a fever. She will never be quite able to kick. The mother is incapable of curing it, and they spend a good portion of the film searching for the doll. They eventually do find it, but it is in pieces. And the same thing with the destroyed video cassette earlier, when the mother was blaming the daughter and the daughter was claiming that it wasn't her. This time around it comes full circle, and it's the daughter blaming the mother and the mother claiming that she didn't do it. And this is when the point in the film when both of them realize, like, wow, this is is some very serious shit that's going on here. I think it's very interesting how both of these characters are clinging on to these objects, like the mother to her video cassette and the daughter to her doll. And the spirit knows this, and it's using these objects to like pin these two against each other. And you know, that's basically their challenge, like realizing that those objects, they don't really matter. All that matters is each other. And the mother even says that, hey, I can fix the doll, I can use some tape and put it back together, which she does. But you know, that's her journey, that's her challenge, realizing that this fixing that they are in need of is not necessarily a physical one, it's more of an internal one. It's more of getting on the same page with her daughter. I have to say I wasn't really a big fan of the jump scares. Now, there's only so much I can take, okay? It's like, I have a limit. 2 jump scares per horror movie, that's the maximum I can take. And this film has more. It actually has 2 which are incredibly fucking annoying. It has 2 which are kind of like acceptable, you know, like an image passes by quickly in front of the screen. I was like, oh, okay, that's not so bad. And it has one which I thought was actually quite clever. It's in the last act of the film, and the last act is the most frightening part, and it's very well done. It was kind of sad to see like such a well-made and intelligent movie fall prey to like the typical jump scare galore. Like sometimes one happening immediately after the previous one. But what more than makes up for that is the acting by Narges Rashidi. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. I really hope so. She is fucking incredible in this film. She's so convincing, in fact, that I was actually thinking during the film, hey, I wonder if she actually experienced something similar in her life. Turns out she has. She actually has experienced the Iran-Iraq war when she was a child. That she actually has experienced hiding out in the basement of their apartment building with her mother during bombing attacks, and it really fucking shows. This is absolutely a breakout performance in every sense of the word. Wow. So that would be my 2 cents, folks. Highly recommend Under the Shadow. Not just for horror fans. This is a very intelligent movie, and it's actually, I think, in my opinion, an important movie. I would never have thought I would say this about a horror movie, that it is important. Watch it. My question to you would be, what is your favorite non-American horror movie? Leave your comments down below. Really curious to know. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so I can see you later with other reviews. Until then, folks, stay cool, stay awesome. Goodbye.